Hi, good evening again. This is Destiny, and I am back. This is still Sunday, June 2nd, 2019. So I'm back with this because I want to finish up the testimony, my story on how did I get here. And this is part two. And so for you to catch up to where I am at this moment, you need to go back and review video part one of how did I get here. I'm not going to go back through everything. I'm just going to want to start right on into part two. But for you to understand part two, you have to go back and look at part one. And it will give you all the details to where I am beginning right at this moment. So namaste. Welcome everyone into the room again. Beautiful day. And here I go. How did I get here? This is my journey from that started in 2014 up to the time when the Creator moved me into a whole nother arena. Well, because of my prayers and because of my crying out, and because of my murmuring, complaining, but I needed a change. He just one day after 4 years of all that complaining, murmuring, he just let her have her way and just threw me. But anyway, go back and visit part one. You understand, okay? So, how did I get here? Okay, picking up right here. Then, over time, as I said, I heard the voice of the Creator. He was speaking to me. And at that point, after all the prayers I prayed for those 4 years, and after all the murmuring and all the complaining that I have done over the 4 years, and all the frustrations and the weariness and the tiredness and the moaning and the groaning I was doing, I was just at a point of brokenness. I was tired of the environment. I was tired of being in the church environment around people that no longer was welcoming me. I was tired of being in a place where I had no family, I had no friends, I had nobody that could be a part of my life, who want to be a part of my life. So after a while, after I've been crying out, asking for that change, okay, well, it took 4 years. And change sometimes come quicker when we murmur and complain, but it's not always the best change and the best timing. So after the 4 years, after he heard me all that murmuring, complaining, he was setting up my future. He was setting up the best plans for my life. And he was getting all that prepared and me and ready for me. So when he moved me into that new change and that new opportunity, and everything will be set, and I will be grounded and rooted, and I will be developed, and I will be ready to make that change and transition without any complaints, without any murmuring, without coming into a new environment and now feeling the same loneliness, the same separation, the same rejection, because I knew nobody out here in this new location. When I got here, I didn't know anything, but I was tired, but he had to move me. I no longer had a job in the old place. I no longer had an apartment in the old place. Everything now has been taken away from me, and I really had nothing to really go back to. But as I said, I came out here and for that interview, and I got the job on the spot. I ended up getting a job. I ended up getting an apartment. All that happened within 3 days, 3 or 4 days, however. But it all happened. So I had nothing to turn back to, because there was no way now I could support myself. My job was shut down. My apartment now was shut down. But I did have a job going into the new direction that I was headed, and I did have a place to live. So I heard him say to me, when all the changes was in that direction now, it was headed to manifest. This is what he said to me. It takes form to transform. And I did not understand that. And I pondered, like, what? I mean, like, what? I mean, what is he trying to say? I did not get it. It took me a while, but I kept meditating over it, and I kept asking him to reveal exactly what he was trying to tell me, because I did not understand that. I did not understand that meaning of what he was saying. It takes form to transform. And it took a while for me, to come to revelation as I continued to move toward the move date. And as I was getting up out of my old environment, my old neighborhood, my old friends, my old past, and leaving that lifestyle, and as I had my friends, moving in with me, my true friends, only had two. They were moving in the path with me. They never turned their back on me. They never rejected me. They never denied me of who I was becoming to be. And they accepted me just like I was when they accepted me when I was walking in Christianity with them. They loved me just the same. They never gave up on me. They were the only two friends that stood by me. And they said, we're not letting you go anywhere by yourself. We're taking you. So they had prepared the moving van. They had prepared the preparation to get me out of there. They had prepared everything. And they were walking the final steps with me. And those are my two friends, and I just say, I love them. You know who you are. And you are a part of the plan to get me to where I need to be at the time. So, it takes form to transform. And I knew then, after I had meditated and pondered over that saying for a few days, I knew at that moment that he was confirming to me that it is okay now, Destiny, to move forward. It's okay. Everything now ain't nowhere to go back to. It's all been shut down. The new doors has been opened. Opportunities has been opened. You got a new path to travel. You got a new job. You got a new place to live. You ain't got nothing back here. You asked for it. Bam, here you are. You into it now. I'm sending you off with the best I got. And he sent my best friends with me to get me all set up. And I am so appreciative of them. But that was confirmed in that process, exactly what he was meaning. He was letting me know that it was okay to move forward. It is okay to trust the unknown, and that it's okay to form my outer shell, that in the process of transforming my inner self. Because now I'm no longer looking outside of me, trying to figure all this out. Even though I was in some few steps ahead of what he wanted, and I was few steps ahead of his timing, but he was gonna get me into that place. And things changed. It changed immediately for me. It was a whole lot of change. So to hear those words from my Creator, I began to find some comfort. I began to find peace and some resilience, because I was like, okay, now I'm feeling like, hey, things can begin to turn around for my good. That change is coming. I don't know how to accept it. I don't know what is required of me when I get out there into the new environment, to my new job, and to my new place. But I'm moving forward. I'm moving on. So here, let me know it's okay. Because these last 4 years, I have been going through changes and a whole lot of challenges. And I was doing a lot of reevaluations in every aspect of my life. I was exhausting everything because I was just like, I need to change now. I was in a hurry. And I would say I was way ahead of him at the time, steps ahead of him. But like I said, he let me know it takes form to transform. So what do you mean? But it all just have to come down to finding my way to that renewed hope that I was been looking for, and that happiness that I've been seeking. The place of acceptance again, where I long for. A place where now I can feel myself. I can begin to feel like the person I know that he was bringing me into, my conscious self, my divine self. I want to feel that. What he's been telling me, I want to feel it. And I want to feel it without people rejecting me, without people avoiding me, without people ignoring me, or people pushing me away from them. I want to feel that without somebody looking down my back and looking down my life and saying, girl, you done lost it, and you done went out there on a limb and got too far. You done gone crazy. You done got hijacked by The enemy, girl, he's gonna claw your life apart. I was tired of hearing people denying me and telling me that I was silly and crazy for jumping out of the Christianity and moving towards something that I was totally making a mistake, but it wasn't. That was their opinion, but I was allowing those voices to get into my mind. All those different forms was getting into my mind, and he was saying, okay, you ready for the change? I want for you to change. I'm ready for you to change. But I have to take you through a process. There has to be some transforming as well. So, anyway, somewhere through my journey, in search for hope, in search for happiness, in search for completeness, and stepping into the unfamiliar, that unknown place now that I am going, I became afraid. I really became afraid because I began to question, am I making the right mistake? What am I going to do when I get out here? I don't know these people. I got to start all over again, a new job. I got to do all this again. I got to go back into a field and work where I really don't have an interest and desire to work in that field anymore. I had closed down that field some years ago before I went back to working with the church. I walked away from my education field, teaching children, and I was like scared. I didn't want to go back into that field, but that was the only opportunity at the time that opened up to me, so I could have a job to come out here to this new location and start over again, and be able to sustain my life and my life of my daughter when she get here and start her school. So I became afraid, and I allowed fear to set in and to set a sail in the things that I was lonely and desiring to be free from. But like I said, it took me a while to come to this understanding. I eventually came to that understanding, and I finally really understand it more today. That I came into a perfect understanding of what the Creator really meant when He spoke to me. It takes form to transform. And this is what my revelation that I received, my gut intuition revealed. What that saying meant. Life is a form, and everything we create in our life is written on the form of our minds and our hearts. But these things will never transform until we take them out of our hearts and out of our minds and begin speaking them into existence, which forms the life that the Creator had predestined for us to live before our birth. Now, I'll personally say that the Creator has predestined for me to live before my birth. Now, the Creator masterfully guides us through an understanding of our own life lessons. And He also teaches us how to successfully use whatever we're going through as a springboard for regeneration and rebirth. And I was in a phase where He's about ready to eject me, but I was jumping a little bit ahead. I was like, give me all, I'm tired. 4 years, I was like, change this. Change me. Get me away from this. But, I caused a lot of the turmoil, and I caused a lot of the frustration and aggravation and depression. I caused a lot of myself because I was going against Him, and I was pushing Him faster than He was ready for me to move at that moment. So, this is what happens. We live in the turbulent times of profound change, and many of us find ourselves at emotional and spiritual crossroads. And those two crossroads I'm always telling you about. The crossroad of the ego and the crossroad of the soul. And that's where now I had to come to that dividing line. My ego was still trying to hold me into a place that I had fought for those 4 years of my spiritual journey. And my soul really wanted me to go higher. But the Creator had a plan of my elevating, of my being transcending to that place at His perfect timing. But since I was like anxious to get away from all what I was feeling like I was rejected from, He wind the clock a little faster. He pulled back the springboard and shoot, He shot me out here so fast, and I was here sitting in a new place. I was sitting in question for a long period of time, asking the Creator to change my life and situation, to open the new doors, opportunities to advance my walk. And that happened. However, when it did happen, and when my prayers were answered, and the opportunity came before me, I then became like coherent. Like, I'm not hearing no more. I'm not hearing no more. And I'm not no longer addressing these petitions, but now because I'm asking one question: how did I get here? I'm not looking at what I've done. I'm not looking at the part that I played in it, but I'm looking at how you get me here. Why am I here? You asked to be here. You didn't ask what time or what specific location. You didn't ask when. You didn't ask how. You didn't ask anything about what is my timing for you to be able to go to the new level. I had plans for you. I knew what I wanted, but it was at my timing. But I got a perfect place. Yes, I was sending you, but since you already want to go ahead, I put you in there a little earlier. Now you got to figure out some things, how to be able to live into your new environment with your new opportunities, and live into your new job and your new place, and live all of that out. And I'm just going to sit and wait till you come to the end of yourself before I start the process of bringing you into your higher and greater self. And before I can bring you into that perfect divine peace, into that perfect love that I've been trying to give you all my life, into that beautiful light that is radiant that I want to let glow in you so people can see you are different than everything else around you and other people around you. I want you to stand out. Anyway, sometimes, like I said, we hurry and we push our creators panic buttons, and we will go ahead and he'll allow it to happen. So then we find ourselves like that thread being pulled through the eye of the needle, and with one yank away from a creator, he sometimes had to prick us with that needle to remind us that this is what you've been asking for. Now you saying, how did I get here? You asked for it. Deal with it. And that's what he was allowing me to do. You got to deal with it. And many times we make our own turbulent times of profound changes, playing this game of tug of war with our creator. Because it's not that we don't believe in what we're asking. We believe it, but then we don't know how to accept it. And we don't know how to be able to let go of the past sometimes so we can move on with our future. So we don't know how to let go of our ego so we can move on with our soul consciousness, our higher self. So we just don't know how. So now we become stagnant again because we don't know how to handle it. Because we went so far ahead sometimes we get so far ahead of the plans of the Creator. So, and then we become fearful of trusting Him totally and doing it the way that we want Him to do it, because all we want is what we want. We want it our way. We want it when we want it, how we want it, at that time. That's what we want. So, and it always brings us back to that question: how did I get here? How did I get here? So let me hurry along so we can get through this today. This is part 2 of how did I get here. Part 2. Now I've learned that I must face all the forms that I've created through the different roles in my life in search for a higher knowledge of myself, a better means of living my life, and being free to serve my Creator without being questioned by others and what I believe. And I was tired of being questioned. I was tired of people calling me making a dumb mistake. Now you being stupid. You jumping away from the faith. This is all you knew. This is your life. This is you. You're leaving your God. No, I didn't leave my God. I left the lies of Christianity. I left the ignorance of teaching of Christianity. I left all of that because that was not the path of my God, which I call my Creator, He had for me. He wanted me to connect with Him and connect with nature so I can connect with my higher consciousness self, so I can leave that ego state, that dark night of ego, so I can leave that prideful part of me, so I can leave all the worldly things behind me. Not saying that I'm getting rid of the ego, but He was balancing out my life so I can have control over the ego, so I can live a higher conscious self. My soul was crying out, and He wanted me in that place where I can grow to my greater and better version of who I was. So, When I began taking all my forms that I created to build my destiny, to transform my life into the life that He longed and waited for me to walk in, that's when I lost the fear of the unknown. I became fearful of the unknown that was ahead of me. I became free to move forward into that life of renewed optimistic. I became free to move into that life of true contentment and into that life of courageous awakening of the real truth now. Finally, the real truth is at the brink of being totally revealed. I had a lot of little bits and pieces, and like I said, I was breaking away from all those lies and all the programming and all those different things. I was breaking out of that. He was about to ready to move me into my true identity. So I was coming now to that place of my real self. And the truth of who I am, and the truth of my Creator, and the truth of my predestination, and the truth of my divine purpose. And why the Creator had created me to be from the very beginning of my life when He first brought me here on this journey. I then formed to transform. I had to do what He said. It takes form to transform. I learned to form to transform. I no longer had to ask that question, how did I get here? I was just so glad to know that I was here for such a time as this. I was here. I had arrived at my greater and higher, better version of who the Creator meant for me to be. Now I'm at a place now, I'm a few steps ahead of His timing. Now I gotta get my act together, and I gotta learn how now to slow down myself and start listening and walking in perfect timing with His plans. So I'm gonna leave this with you. This timeless wisdom to all my friends out there. This is my journey. This is what happened to me. This is some of the steps that I went through. This is how my truth and my spiritual awakening came into its full path of where I am today. And I'm going to leave some of the wisdom with you and some of my practical techniques and some down-to-earth advice that will open your eyes and your mind to the plans and the paths that the Creator may have for you. And I pray that you will soon answer your questions or your question honestly, and to get a confirmed answer from the Creator on your asking, how did you get here? And if you're one of those people asking that question, then please listen to me. Listen to Destiny. I've been on this journey. I've only teach from my experiences. I've been there. I've done a lot of things. But I said I learned through my experience, and this is my path. These are my experiences. This is my story, and this is how I handled it, and this is what I did. And so through my steps, even some of the errors and the things I did make steps along the way. I made a lot of steps along the way. I made a lot of errors. I made errors in those steps. Yes, I did. I moved ahead of the Creator a lot faster than at the time that He was trying to move me into my perfect and divine self. But I learned, and that's why I can tell you my story. I can tell you in my experience and what I went through. So this all can help you all with your journey. Stay in time with the divine Creator. Learn patience. Learn to wait, which I did not have patience. After 4 years, I got impatient. But it was no excuse. I should remain faithful, knowing that He was going to guide me at the timing of His perfection that He had for my path to come to His full opening of who I really was and my purpose and where He wanted me to be. So let me leave this wisdom with you. These are 5 simple steps, and I want you to really seriously listen to these 5 steps and take this with a grain of salt, however you want to do it. Just please listen to this and keep an open mind, okay? Number 1, the first step. Recognize and understand the significant transitions, your turning points, and wake-up calls on your path. Number 2, transform fear into courage, confusion into vision, and self-doubt into confidence. That's a good one. Number 3, turn what appear to be dead, those dead ends of your life, into doorways. Paths are opening. You got to know when to walk through them. Always remember, stay in tune with the Creator. He has the perfect timing. Doors will open. The right doors will open at the perfect time of the Creator. So turn what appear to be dead ends into doorways. These are your opportunities, so you can advance, so you can evolve, so you can grow higher into your higher conscious self and become your greater and better version that the Creator has already pre-purposed and predestinated you before the beginning of your journey. He already had the plans already ready. Just got to be patient, which I wasn't. After 4 years, I became impatient and I got in a hurry. And number 4, reclaim your passion and reclaim your purpose for living and for loving. That is a must. And first of all, I always tell you, before you can love anything or anyone, you got to learn to love yourself first. You got to grow and love who you are. You got to be me. And you got to love you. You got to let all the things, let everything that people try to hold you to or try to tell you that you are and who you should be and what you should be doing or how you should be doing and who you should be serving, what faith you should be in, what God you should be worshiping. Cut all that loose. Get into what resonates with you, what you know is your true self and your true identity, and live you and become a be me. Let go of all the things that no longer serve you. Let go of all the people that no longer have your best interests at heart. Let go of all the things that has not your purpose that the Creator has created for you. So, reclaim your passion and your purpose for living and your purpose for loving. And number 5, rediscover freedom, fulfillment, and authenticity from the inside out. And I'm not going to keep telling you that, but I'll tell you this so many times. Everything that you are looking for, everything that you need is already inside of you. So you got to go in deep on the inside. And you got to find you. Your soul is there crying out, come up higher. There's a better you. Come out of that unconscious state. Come up to your consciousness, your soul, and live to be your greater and better version. Your consciousness self, your divine, beautiful, authentic self. So, you have to discover your freedom, your fulfillment in your life, and your authenticity from the inside out. So, that is it. Those 5 simple steps. Take them, put them into practice, and use them. And let that help you to be able to know your journey and your path and know how to walk in the timing of the Creator. So taking this advice seriously will lead you to a true transformation for achieving emotional and rebirth of your new life that will change your life forever in the path of your spirituality, in the path of your soul, your true higher consciousness state of being. And that was what happened to me. That was my journey. That was where I ended up. And like I said, I started my spiritual journey in 2014. I went through a whole lot. And you go back to my first video, you see all the things I was telling you I went through. And I became so depressed. I became so frustrated because I was dealing with people that did not care for me anymore. They left me. They just dropped me. And they disowned me. It was hard to accept that at first, but I knew that was a calling and in a different place and was moving me away from them, but I didn't know how to let go and cut the ties with the people that I'd been down with for so long, until I just became frustrated and I allowed myself to be hurt and broken, depressed. disgusted. And I just started putting my wheels in motion. I want to change. I want to get up out of this. I want to move. I want to go into a better place. I want to go into a higher place. I want to go a new location. I want a new job. I want new friends. I want new family. I just need a change. But the Creator already had it in plan, what He already had for my life. And He, like I said, even though the 4 years, he wasn't talking to me. He wasn't really revealing anything to me. And I feel like, He forgotten all about me, I'm hurting. Oh, He see me hurting. I'm going through all this depression. I'm going through suicidal thinking and attempts, and I'm doing all this stuff because I felt hurt. I was rejected. Nobody was there. I had nobody. There was nobody. But that was a good thing. I really didn't realize at the time. It was a good thing. It was my place to get into, my place where He needed me to be, so I can grow, so I can start learning more about how to handle my true identity, my true authentic self when He arrived me to that place. But I did get there. I got there because I pushed myself, and He had to give me a little yank and spring you forth, girl. You ain't got patience. I was trying to get you in that place in the first place, but I'll put you in there a little earlier. Now that you figure out how you gonna come in terms with your new environment, with your new job, your new place to live, all the new people you're meeting, and everything now that's coming in your life, you learn how to deal with it. And I did. Not on my own. I was broken when I got out here. I was broken. And I was hurting still. Because now I was like, how did I get here? I'm still asking that crazy question. How did I get here? It takes form, He said, to transform. It takes form to transform. And I had to go back and keep remembering that. It takes form to transform. Okay, form to transform. And I just made that one last crowd. After I got here about a month and a half later, maybe about 2 months, and I was out there in my lunch break one day, sitting in my car, and I was just tired of being in this environment now. I don't know nobody still. Now I'm not liking the job. It's just like, it was just pressure. And I said, Creator, how did I get here? How did I get here? He said, because you asked to be here. This is what you wanted. You wanted a change, and I gave you a change. And I was convicted at that moment. I asked for this, and I was never specific on how and when and where He wanted me to go. I just wanted to get out quick, fast, and a hurry from the pain of being rejected by my Christian brothers and friends, and the environment that I was living in, the people that I was around that no longer had nothing to do with me. I wanted to get away from that, and I wanted to start over. Did not knowing that starting over means that I had to start all over again. Now was still, I didn't have nobody in my life. But that convicted me. You got here because you asked to be here. And it was never specific about where you want to go. And from that point on, I shut my mouth. I pulled up my shoulder. And I said, oh, I did. And I started yielding myself unto His every call, unto His plans. I began to seek Him. I began to talk more and more to Him. He began to draw me in closer to Him. He brought me into nature, and He began to show me through nature. He brought me out there touching trees and talking to the trees and grounding the sand. Nothing I knew anything about. But this was my path through learning myself and learning my divine purpose and learning my Creator. It's now He brought me up to nature. And I was like, now I'm out there touching trees. But when I put my arms around the trees, I'm telling you guys, I'm telling you people, there was life. I felt breath and life, and that revised, it regenerated my whole entire being. It was like an aura, a light that come over me, and I was feeling different because I was being broken at the place where I was, and I was becoming tired and really frustrated, and I was being worn. I was being worn down in a bad kind of way. My health was kind of like failing because I was frustrated. I was worried all the time. I was frustrated. Constantly, and my health was like failing me because I was tired. But when He introduced me to nature, and got me out there, introduced me to trees and to the sand and the grounding, talking to the nature and touching the trees, and came alive. I came alive, and I came alive, and I came alive, and I came alive. And that's when his peace came totally absent into my heart. His love blossomed in my heart like never before. I let go of all those things that I was so bitter toward. I did not even have anger anymore toward the people or the things that had went down in my life. I became totally, absolutely blissfully loving. And that was all because I allowed myself to let go and allowed him to be the control. Anyway, that was a part of my journey to where I am to now. And today I am more happier than I ever been. I am more at peace than I am more loving with more than I ever been. I mean, I just love people. I'm so happy. I'm happy. And like I said, it wasn't all like that when I first got here because I was out of my place still and I was out of the time of the Creator. But when I had to admit and confess, hey, I jumped ahead and yes, I'm here because it was me that pushed it and rushed it. But I came in to ask him to just forgive me, and I will move whenever he say move, and I will do whatever he say do, and that's when he led me into this perfect place I am today. So on that further note, go back and pick up on part 1 of how did I get here, and bring this up till today on this part of the journey, and you will get the whole story. So on further note, I love everybody out there. Thank you for being a part of this journey with me, being a part of my story, and I hope this story has helped you. And I hope this will help to enlighten your spiritual journey, whatever path that you may be on, or how further along that you are in your path. On that further note, I love you. Namaste. Have a great evening.